the closing doors, please.
What is up, you guys? Welcome to the stream as your first place 14-7 New York Mets look to put the finishing touches on a 4-game sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals here on Easter Sunday. Welcome in. I am Tony Metro. If you guys are new to the channel, if you're watching on Twitter, I do daily Mets content, mostly on YouTube, but you'll find me on Twitter as well, also Instagram and TikTok. So be sure to subscribe to the channel or follow me on any of those platforms and leave this video a like for daily Mets content. Guys, this has been a really fun weekend so far. I mean, the Mets have looked just fantastic against the Cardinals so far. You know, we had that series in Minnesota that really left a sour taste in our mouths, you know, losing 2 out of 3, the 2-error game from Lindor, Soto with a pretty rough go of it in the series finale in that one, grounding into a double play, striking out a couple times, and it seems like all those things have been alleviated and they are a thing of the past. The Mets getting a 4-1 win on Thursday, then the walk-off blast from Lindor on Friday, and then yesterday another fantastic pitching performance from the Mets starters. So let's get into it here. The things that I will be looking most about for this finale here today. Like I said, Mets looking for their first 4-game sweep, or not their first, but they are looking for the 4-game sweep, and it would be their first 4-game sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals since 1986. Yeah, that's right. So maybe some good fortune if the Mets can pull it off here this afternoon. They have not done it since April of '86, and they've never actually done it at home. So this would be a first for the organization. Mets starters have been so great so far this series. A combined 18 innings pitched, just 4 earned runs. They've struck out 21 Cardinals batters and just 4 walks. That's compliments of Griffin Canning, who was great on Thursday. 6 innings pitched, just 1 earned run, struck out 8 and walked 2. David Peterson, not his best performance, but 5 1/3, 3 earned runs, struck out 9, didn't walk any. And then, of course, we know Kodai Senga having another fantastic outing yesterday. 6 2/3, no earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks. So things have been great in the starting pitching department. We know, obviously, top starters ERA in all of baseball so far. And the Mets all-time on Easter Sunday have a 16-23 record. I really don't look too deeply into that, but just a little fun factoid for you guys to know. So that's what I'll be paying attention to here today in the series finale. Meanwhile, there's another thing that we got to talk about. Mark Vientos. So I have an injury update for you. You've probably already seen it, but we'll go through it anyway. Obviously, you probably know if you watched yesterday's game that Vientos exited the game early with groin discomfort. Vientos actually said after the game he believed he didn't drink enough water, so he wasn't hydrated enough, and that was what led to him tightening up there. So he is out of today's lineup. He is considered day to day. Carlos Mendoza was asked about it earlier this morning during his presser, and here's what he had to say.
I will check again after he gets checked out by our trainers and all that. But talking to him, he says definitely a lot better today.
Any shot you'd have him today, or is that pushing it a little bit?
We'll see. You know, I'll wait till he goes through all the testing and all that, and see if he's going to be able to do some baseball activity, and then hopefully he's a player for us. But if not, we'll continue to treat it day by day.
Okay, so interesting. Hopefully he's a player for us. I think Mendoza just didn't really know exactly what he wanted to say there, and that's why he kind of put it that way. It doesn't sound like anything serious. Hopefully that's not the case. The Mets did say that if it continues to be an issue, that they do plan to do some more tests on Sunday or maybe even tomorrow. He seemed very non-committal about him coming in as a potential pinch hitter or defensive replacement at any point in this game on Sunday. And that's probably for the best. You know, Vientos is heating up right now. Been great over the last 7 games. He's got a 269 average over 26 at-bats, including the 2 homers, the first 2 of his season so far. They came in Thursday and Friday's game against the Cardinals, and 5 runs driven and just 4 strikeouts over these last 7 games. So Vientos finally starting to break out of that little early season swoon that he had. And I honestly think the best thing the Mets can do is just keep him off his feet for the next day or so and let him get healthy, which means that Brett Beatty will get a little bit more run, and he's quietly been kind of putting it together here over the last 7 games, similarly to Vientos. 304 average in 23 at-bats. He's got 2 RBIs. Drew his first 2 walks of the season in back-to-back games, those coming on Friday and then yesterday in the Mets' 3-0 victory over the Cardinals. So it'll be really interesting to see, especially because Mendoza was also asked about Jeff McNeil and Francisco Alvarez's status. And he said that both those guys will continue their rehab assignments in the minor leagues. He didn't specify whether it would be in Binghamton or if they'd go up to Syracuse. Original plan for McNeil was to ascend to AAA Syracuse at some point, while Alvarez will probably just join the big league roster at some point without having to go up to AAA. He's still a few days away. He was Mendoza, that is, was non-committal to either of them being ready to play in the Phillies series beginning on Monday. So it'll be interesting to see how this all works out with them coming back. Obviously, Luis Angel Acuna has been playing pretty well, as well as Beatty. So it's going to be basically a crapshoot of how they're going to work out the roster from that point forward. So those are some of the things to keep an eye on. Hopefully Vientos is okay. And again, he is out of the lineup, like I mentioned. And speaking of the Mets lineup, here is how it looks this afternoon as they look to finish the sweep. Pretty typical lineup against a righty. Francisco Lindor leading off. Juan Soto in the 2-hole. Pete Alonso continues to be red hot. He's hitting third. Brandon Nimmo hitting cleanup in this one. So hopefully Nimmo found something with that opposite field single that he had yesterday. It's definitely been a struggle for him early on. Jesse Winker follows that. Then there's Luis Angel Acuna, of course, getting the start at second with Brett Beatty over at third. He hits behind him. And then Tyrone Taylor out in center field and Hayden Sanger rounding things out behind the plate. And they will be going for this sweep against Sonny Gray. Yes, the immortal Sonny Gray. I feel like he's been in the league for 15 years, and I'm probably not far off on that. It's got to be close to 12 at this point. The dude has bounced around everywhere, and now he's with St. Louis and has really been great over the last couple years, and he's been really great early in 2025. 3.13 ERA over his first 4 starts this year. Last time out against Houston, 7 innings of shutout baseball, so he's got it going still. Here are the Mets' numbers against Sonny Gray for their career. Francisco Lindor just 5 for 23, not a great batting average, but 2 of those 5 hits were home runs. He also has drawn 3 walks against him. Juan Soto was 4 for 8, a nice healthy 500 batting average. He also has a homer against him. Pete Alonso just 1 for 5, but like Lindor, that one hit was a home run. Brandon Nimmo's 3 for 9. Jesse Winker 3 for 8 all time against Gray. Luis Angel Acuna has never faced him. Brett Beatty hitless in his only 2 at-bats. Tyrone Taylor is 2 for 8, and then Hayden Sanger, just like Luis Angel Acuna, has never faced Sonny Gray. So the Mets offense has done enough so far this series. They haven't been tremendous, but they've done enough. And that's a compliment to the Mets pitching staff, really, who have held them in check. The Mets have outscored the Cardinals 12-5 over the first 3 games of this series. And speaking of pitching, Clay Holmes will be on the mound for the Mets today. He is making his 5th start of the year now, and he will be taking on this lineup. He has his 3.66 ERA. Over 4 starts, he is 2-1 today. Looks to continue that great pitching that the Mets have gotten from the starter so far. The St. Louis lineup is pretty similar to what we've seen, but no Nolan Arenado, who didn't absolutely crush the Mets in this series, which is kind of a surprise because he normally does. Leading off, you got Lars Nootbaar. After that, Thomas Sagasi, who had 2 doubles yesterday. Brendan Donovan, who's been red hot, but really that only moment against us so far in this series was that game-tying homer in the 9th. He hasn't done a ton of damage against the Mets to this point. Wilson Contreras hitting cleanup, Alex Burleson, and then Jordan Walker. There is a Nolan in the lineup. It's not Arenado. Nolan Gorman hitting 7th, Pedro Pajes hitting 8th, and then Victor Scott the 2nd, rounding things out for the Cards. So Mets with a big chance to put an exclamation point on this series here, get a 4-game sweep of the Cardinals. Like I said, never have swept the Cardinals in a 4-game series at home. They have not swept the Cardinals in any 4-game series since 1986. If you're a Mets historian like I am, you've probably heard from Keith Hernandez and some of the members of that 86 team that was the moment where they realized, oh, we are better than the Cardinals now. We are the toast of the National League. So pretty cool if the Mets would be able to do that here in 2025. Obviously, the Cardinals are not, the perennial National League champion contender like they were in the 80s at that time, but it would be a great way for the Mets to start this 7-game homestand, especially welcoming in the Philadelphia Phillies, who are in second place right on the Mets' heels. Again, it's too early to be all worried about the standings at this point. It's only middle of April. I mean, it's Easter, for goodness sake. So I'm not getting caught up in that. But entering that series, coming off 4 wins in a row against a pretty decent St. Louis team, would definitely be a nice little momentum push into a division series with the Phillies. So we're going to have a post-series recap video coming out some point, hopefully tonight or maybe early tomorrow morning. And then maybe we'll also have a season or a series preview video for the Mets' upcoming series with the Phillies. Guys, let me know in the comment section below, are the Mets going to finish the sweep here today of the Phillies? Or, oh, hey, Jonathan, what's up, man? Sorry, I'm just getting to the chat now. Happy Easter to you, my man. 7-game winning streak against the Cards. Yes, sir. I love it. You got your broom ready. That's what I like to hear. I don't have my broom. I got a little dustpan here in my apartment. I mean, that might be worth something, right? I'll take it out and I'll put my rally cap on, and hopefully the Mets will get this 4-game sweep of the Cardinals. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. How you feeling about this pitching matchup? How would you feel if the Mets do end up sweeping? Is it all bore from there? Are they full bore, ready to just blast away from the rest of the National League after that? We will see, but we will check in with you guys later. Until then, I am Tony Metro. Stay true to the orange and blue.